Segment. We are going to book report. We are reading Killjoys, The Seven Deadly Sins by Marshall Siegel. We're doing a series on that. And right now we are talking about anger. I got a bunch of quotes here that what is anger? That I'll just read off. And we can chat about that. And then, okay, here. You become angry when you define reality as unacceptable and you feel unable to easily correct it, tolerate it, or let go. In its uncorrupted origin, explains Tim Keller, anger is actually a form of love. Anger is how we respond to whatever threatens someone or something we care about. How we perceive and respond to reality has to do with what we value. How do you think about anger? Do you struggle with anger at all?
Yeah, I do struggle with anger.
Anger at what?
One child.
One of your kids.
Yeah, one of the six. One of the six really.
We're going to watch this in 10 years and be like, see, Dad, you even said it.
You even said it. You admitted that, how pathetic you are. No, there's one. She's the strongest one, and she will probably run the country one day or run something. She's awesome, but she can kindle my wrath like nobody else. And it's interesting. I mean, we have 6 kids in our house. It's insane, but she's the one that really pushes my buttons. And I'll be honest, in the last, I've done extremely well in the last while, and I don't know if it's because I'm just parenting less and Marie's pulling more of the weight. It could be a bit of that, but I think it's more just I've been really working on it. Like even through last year when I went through this freedom
How do
sessions.
you work on it? What does that mean?
So in that exact moment where I just really want to respond really poorly, like I know her personality and I know that I need to draw her in, not push her away. I need to and it's almost impossible, right? Because especially if it goes too far, then it's too late. Like if it's the point where I'm like seeing red basically, or just totally unhinged and yelling at her, but I don't want to be that guy, right? And
so you say anger pushes her away, and what you need to do is pull her.
Well, I'm trying to pull her.
When does anger ever push? No. When is anger actually helpful? You could almost
it's never helpful.
Okay.
Well, I mean the books. I mean he talks about God being angry. He talks about righteous anger.
Yeah.
I mean I struggle. Like for example, I mean I struggle with a lot of addiction. And when I used to go to AA, like there was this saying that nobody can, like alcoholics they don't do righteous anger. Like there's no such thing.
Yeah.
And I would say for most of us, or at least for myself, I should say, I can't do it. Yeah. Like I don't do well being angry. It puts me in a very bad headspace, right?
So I had it when I was 7 or 8. That's where like when my anger problems really started, and I had like insane temper tantrums. Like there was more holes in the wall of my room than there was drywall left. Like there was just like I would go insane and run the roof.
Do you still punch holes in walls or not?
Never.
Okay, I do.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I struggle with anger probably more than I actually initially.
Well, I'll get to that. But so I mean, I ended up going to the psych ward and everything because it was so bad. But I from all the counseling or getting drugged up or whatever that, I really learned to manage it or suppress it. And I basically just and cool as a cucumber. Especially when things get really like heated and stuff like that, I get really calm.
Shut right down.
Yeah, or just calm. But I didn't
down.
realize until the freedom session last year that I actually did have a ton of anger inside. But it was just like I don't know if I identified it as something else or it came out as in other ways. But often it can you can say I'm not an angry person, but that comes out in other ways like bitterness or just resentments and stuff like that you hold deep inside. But here's another quote from the book. It says, anger is ugly. The truth is, if we press behind the normal instances of our anger, it's ugly. We find ourselves usually perturbed about getting snubbed in social media or being cut off in traffic or going unrecognized for our work or having an idea shot down or feeling underappreciated by our spouse. It is likely because we love ourselves too much. Sinful anger is the result of our disordered loves, often the shameless self-love. The end of our anger only comes by shalom in our souls, a recalibration of our greatest love and devotion. And I think it's bang on. I mean, it is. I mean, that's also, like, why are we angry at abortion? It's because we love the babies. Why are we angry when someone really is mean to our kids? It's because we love our kids. Mm-hmm. They're always together. And usually if we're really angry, if we get slammed, it's because we're loving ourselves in an unhealthy way too much. And we feel like our character or whatever is being attacked.
So, and that, like the abortion example would be a great example of something where, a lot of people would say, hey, that's where that would be righteous indignation, right? I feel like from my personality and the personal struggles I've had, not that I shouldn't feel anger, but boy, do I need to be careful that check my motives. And he spends a lot of time in the chapter for those. I don't know how many people have read this, got the book and read it, but it's a phenomenal chapter. And he just talks about that, so, like, you know, how you check your heart, right? Yeah. It goes back to your heart. Yeah. Another thing I thought was, well, he talks about how it's the most dangerous of the deadly sins, right? Well, eventually, because anger leads to death, and talks about Cain and Abel and other examples, right?
Yeah. So a couple of solutions to anger. Number one is analyze anger early. This is a quote from the book. We must get to the source of our anger as quickly as possible. When we find ourselves growing angry, when stress starts to rise and tempers begin to flare, we must hear God's words. What do you have to be angry about? Stop and ask. What is so important to me that I get defensive and emotional? What am I loving so much that my heart is feeling moved to get this angry? Interrogating our affections is the best way to mute our misplaced aggression. One practical way this plays out in my life is parenting. The most consistent cause of my anger is the disobedience of my children. On one hand, it is right to be appropriately incensed by their foolish behavior. I love them. And the trajectory of their foolishness is harm. But on the other hand, their disobedience isn't always the real issue. The tricky question is whether I am angry because I've been inconvenienced by their disobedience. If I am loving my children more than myself, my anger responds with patient and particular care and discipline. They are the objects of my love, and my anger is meant to deal with the threat that foolishness makes against their flourishing. But if I'm mainly concerned with myself, my anger is not love for them. It only deals with the inconvenience their disobedience is to me. It's impulsive, nearsighted, curved on what is best for me, not my children. I am loving myself at that moment, not my children.
Yeah, all about so that was all about worship. What's most important?
Yes.
I had that written down. And I mean, we've had it preached often, but we're always worshiping, right? And our time and our money shows us what we're worshiping.
Yeah.
Another thought I had, and this has been very prevalent. I mean, you would agree with this because you deal with yourself and other people that are struggling in relationship. And it says, you know, it's not symmetrical. We might assume that the opposite of anger is love, but actually the opposite of anger is indifference. And it's interesting how, like, especially when I'm dealing with people that are struggling in their marriages, right? It's like the apathetic people are in tough shape. The people that have thrown in the towel are in tough shape. And another common saying that we use is, you know, conflict is a pathway to intimacy. And like, obviously you need to do conflict well. It shouldn't be in front of your children. It shouldn't be, you know, it shouldn't be derogatory language or anything demeaning, but like there's going to be some rub. And one of my challenges in my relationship has been to not do the conflict. And I'm like, oh, I'm a peacemaker. No, like you're a conflict avoider.
Yeah.
And I'm basically just, you know, not sharing with Marie how I really feel about something or how she's doing something, how I feel about it. Cause I'm thinking, oh, I just got to suck it up. Well, now you don't have a relationship.
You get resentment underneath.
Oh yeah. It just harbors and festers. And so like, no, and the problem is when you're that type of person, when you finally do bring it up, it's built up. The other person's blindsided. They're disappointed because you haven't been transparent with them. Yeah. Here they are thinking that, you know, we're doing our relationship pretty well. There hasn't been any real friction. Well, they don't know that you've been basically stuffing 80% of your discontentment. Yeah. And it's and that's why you need good friends like, you know, people like you where you can bounce stuff off. Hey, am I like first, I always say first run it by a good friend. Yeah. Like if you can.
Someone that you know will give you a straight up answer.
Yeah. And then you know, it's like, hey, is this something that I should bring up with my spouse? Or is this one of those times where I should actually just bite my tongue, shut up and just man up and, or whatever, right? Just do you know, be gracious, right? And I think that, so my shortcoming has always been, you know, no, we're good, right? In our marriage meeting conflict section, I'm like, no, we're good. Nothing to report. Well, by Wednesday, you know, it's like, oh, no, I should have brought that up, right? Yeah. So we do a lot better now, but it's been a real challenge for me where I feel like
I definitely agree with the indifference comment. I remember Dave Curry telling me in marriage counseling when Nicole was like ripping mad about me or something. He's like, Kyle, be thankful she's mad. Because that means that she's
not done yet.
She's not done. Not right? done yet. And so and so that was okay. Two more quotes here on how to deal and how to fix anger. One, feel ridiculous for your ridiculousness.
Oh yeah, I had that one.
We should feel sorrow or sad for our sin. If we ask the question about the love beneath our anger, Tim Keller says, more often than not, you'll immediately be embarrassed because many times the thing you're defending is your ego, your pride, your self-esteem. Oftentimes, our anger says that we are self-centered and ridiculous, and we desperately need to hear that. At best, we'll be embarrassed. At worst, we'll despair. It is painful to open the lid on our hearts to this kind of corruption. As twisted as our hearts might be, though, we can face the darkness with a bold and hope-filled sorrow. I love this part. We are bold because the corruption, real and present as it might be, cannot condemn us or defeat us. If we're in Christ, and if you're not in Christ, I encourage you to go to him. If we are in Christ, he has paid the price for our disordered loves. He bore the wrath we deserved, freeing us from sin's guilt. And then the second thing is be enthralled by God. The antidote to anger isn't placid stoicism or cool indifference. It's loving like crazy, what is most lovable. The demise of sinful anger starts with our relentless pursuit of being enthralled by God, to be overcome with him, and then to be moved by him to value all that he values. Mm-hmm. Which I think, ultimately, if we're not satisfied by God as our greatest satisfaction, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah. Right after that, he said, finishes up the chapter, the antidote to anger isn't placid stoicism or cool indifference. It's loving like crazy what is most lovable.
Yes.
The demise of sinful anger starts with our relentless pursuit to be enthralled by God, to be overcome with him, and then to be moved by him, to value all that he values.
I just read that.
Good stuff. Sorry?
I just read that.
You just read that. I was ahead of you, sorry. Sorry, Kyle.
That's great. It's great.
It was so good, we'll read it twice.
But there's actually the Bible verse, this chapter starts with a piece about Jonah, and Jonah 4 verse 2, it says, I knew that you are merciful and compassionate God, slow to get angry and filled with unfailing love. You are eager to turn back from destroying people. And I thought it was so interesting that it reminded me again how God is slow to get angry and how we're quick to get angry, and how opposite we are to God in that. I always kind of thought of God growing up as quick to get angry and stuff like that, but he is actually opposite of that. And
he's also always angry, though. That was another part in the book.
Yes. Yeah,
Psalm 74.
Just like he's always loving. Yeah. Okay, we are moving on to the next segment. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help. If you're interested in doing that, you can click more content, improving the quality of the content, subscribe to the podcast. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show?